How's it going, guys? Right now you're watching some of the Red Dead Online and pretty much just a random gameplay on that part. But basically I wanted to talk about what is the biggest main problem within this game mode that I freaking hate, and I absolutely, it's unfortunate, right? Because everything else that Red Dead Redemption has to offer is fan-damn-tastic. So basically it's super is fantastic, and I'm sure everyone else will agree as well. Before you do continue on and giving me dislikes or saying some kind of clickbait video, how is this a clickbait? Anyway, basically, let me get to the point that I'm sure that everyone is in agreement of some sort, at least majority of us are in agreement saying that the controls, how it feels, you know, the aiming and stuff is pretty bad in the Red Dead, even the campaign. Online dives into that even deeper. The problem with this game mode, to be more exact, that I have, and I'm sure many others, that is, if you don't have the good mechanic shooting that could feel right, especially when you're aiming, it's going to like make or break the game for you. Even though everything else in what it has to offer for you is fantastic and people will love it, and I love it too. It's really good. I don't really like the silent protagonist, my main guy, but that doesn't really make sense. But anyway, that's just nitpicking or anything. Anyway, well, basically that's out of the point. But the controls of how it feels, I thought it wouldn't be as necessity, and this is why I really didn't, cover it too much on the Red Dead Redemption campaign the video, on that part. But the online is taking a so much higher and bigger approach to shooting in the Red Dead Online. If you don't have that, shooting feels good. If you don't have that, it breaks the game for you. It doesn't feel good to play and continue playing. Now, this is important to get out the way that Grand Theft Auto was no better. Grand Theft Auto 5 was not in its perfect state either, even with the online. The only reason why I loved, I'm telling you, Grand Theft Auto, right? It was mostly because I'd done a lot of driving and racings. Because if you have, for example, not that the main interesting thing in the Grand Theft Auto games were not just shooting, it was driving, right? It was the world. Red Dead Redemption is no different, exactly no different. Riding horses is fantastic, it feels great, it feels responsive, I love it. But shooting, what the hell is going on with the shooting? Is it like, what it feels like? Everything is prioritized, I can speak, mostly on the animations, not the input lag. And if that's the case, it's going to feel so slow and sluggish and laggy, and so to say. That's why it's just like, man, I hate this, like I'm trying to kill this guy, but when I'm trying to kill him, there's a bit of aimbot and stuff that has aim assist, to be more exact, not aimbot. Basically, everyone else has that. Everyone has their opportunities. And so, yeah, it's kind of good luck. If you're more familiar with this awkward setup that Rockstar has imported it again, that is a decade-old, outdated, thing for it to be. It's just like, good luck. Who knows this setup the best? That's the guy who's going to win. If you're gonna tell me this is how it's supposed to be, like 100 years before, because it was so much tougher and more difficult to shoot, where are you getting this information from your mind? Like, that's not right. You can read any other sources on Twitter. Twitter, right? Online and anything. West shooters, they were fantastic shooter guys. Like, they knew why do you think they call them gunslingers? Why do you think they're called gunslingers? They were even better aim. They had better aim than people in modern age with their pistols, especially with the, like without even aiming properly. From the side shoulder like that, like I'm not too sure. Like basically the stuff that they do was incredible. It's not about the guns that could like jam up or break or get overused or anything like that. No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how aiming goes. And let's say I want to aim this guy into the head, but something is weird about it. It's just like feels like it's purposely missing. It's really irritating. Now, ZDEyE system definitely helped in campaign, and this is why I kept on going with it, because ZDEyE was like, it saved me so many times, you have no idea how. Basically, ZDEyE system in the online, it really is not much of an existence, unfortunately. Like there is similar aspects of it, like you tag a player or an NPC. I'm not too sure about the player, but NPC for sure. Maybe say 2 to 3 to 4 NPCs. Then you press shoot and it does his own thing and kills them, right? Okay, that's pretty cool. I like it. And she just kind of does the aimbot himself, right? But you tag the enemy. So that does not mean really or result on wall breaching with the bullets or anything like that. That doesn't really go into this consideration. The biggest problem with this is just the controls of how slow, how quirky, how weird it's taking for you to aim at the enemy and when you're trying to kill them, especially against versus other real players. Don't get me started on the griefing system in this game. It's goddamn awful, even worse than probably Grand Theft Auto's game ever been. Anyway, that's not really a big concern to me about the griefing system. My biggest control is obviously the aiming. If I don't have anything to take away from the interest that, for example, the aiming, right? Maybe there could have been a second main interesting thing, like in Grand Theft Auto was racings and cars. That doesn't have that. Horse riding and racing on horses, really? Now tell me, now you think about this. Let's race a car. You can do dirt biking, you can do, bikes, obviously, planes, obviously, helicopters, obviously. So there's a lot of options. Parachuting as well, that was on day 1, I believe. So it's awesome. It's all of it is there. Now, regarding as well the later implementations like flying cars, submarines and stuff, that's later on. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about on day 1 what has happened. And day 1 of the Grand Theft Auto 5 Online, to be more exact, and day 1 of the Red Dead Online. So if there is no second objective that's primarily interesting for the players, nobody's going to stick around. If the number 1 objective in the most primary interest that for the players that should be is killing, shooting, aiming. If you don't have that correct, what's the point? Even though you have so many of other things are excellent. Like maybe not excellent, but very damn great and very, very good. Storytelling, gameplay, development, characters, how graphically it looks, it looks good. I think it feels good as well. Don't get that twisted. Controls of how it feels, now that's shit. Like aiming's awful, it's goddamn awful. Anyway, well, tell me down in the comments, what do you think? Like, I am very concerned that I played it for the past 3 days or so now because I got the Ultimate Edition, so I got I had to go on it. It was like much earlier, and it just does not feel good. I don't think I'm gonna be able to stick around on this online mode. I thought I would be, but I guess I was very, very goddamn wrong. I just don't understand why can't they take over the implementations of the controls and aiming and that kind of thing from Max Payne 3. They've done it. It was good. Well, maybe not perfect, but it was much, much better than any of the Red Dead Redemptions or any of the Grand Theft Auto aimings that they had. Max Payne 3 was superior on any way of the aimings I'm talking about. And gun control I'm talking about as well. I probably would say. I don't understand why can't they just make sure that okay, fine, single player can be like that. Let the animations be the priority instead of the input lag of the aiming, alright? Because it feels so slow and sluggish. Maybe realism is the problem. I'm not sure now at this point. Multiplayer, no, oh god, no. Make sure you prioritize on the input lag. Make sure you don't prioritize on the animations of how the characters look and where they're facing. No matter where you aim your gun and you turn with your stick, you go left, you want it straight away. 1 second input lag, right there you have to be on the target straight away, super fast, no questions asked. If you manage to do that, that's it. This game's fantastic. It's probably going to be my game of a bloody decade. But Grand Theft Auto had the same problem. Now Red Dead Redemption 2 has the same problem. Grand Theft Auto 5 I could always, ignore because, like I said again, driving was fantastic. Red Dead Redemption 2 horsing is not the same. On a horse riding, I meant to say. It's not the same. It's not as much fun. I think driving is a lot more interesting in my case. But I think that, I'm not sure if there's many of you guys that might agree with me, but the controls are fucking unbearable. Thank you so much for watching, like and subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Have an awesome day, and yeah, have a good one.